Hello, 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 hello. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, another day, another stream. And today what we're going to do is, after the 30-minute quick sketch, we're going to go straight back to Chun-Li. Yesterday we started, we created the base mesh for Chun-Li. We kind of went through the, I guess we kind of tinkered and experimented with what the best way is to create a, or, you know, we explored some human anatomy too, and sort of, you know, crafted the best way to create a base mesh in Blender. Looking into the benefits of using linked objects and how you can use them to more easily create, you know, base meshes for your characters, for example, and how you can utilize them. And today, after finishing the base mesh, today what we're going to do is we're going to, I guess, fine-tune the base mesh a little bit so that, you know, it's, I guess, more, you know, today what we're going to do is we're going to sculpt the body, basically. After creating the base mesh now, we can now go and pose the base mesh, as well as give it, I guess, more proper proportions, you could say. It right now looks fairly, I guess, fairly standard. So there are no, yeah, you know, like a normal human base mesh. And I wanted to go into it a little bit more and kind of fine-tune the different proportions, more according to Chun-Li, basically. We're gonna get to that, yeah, when we get to it, okay? But of course, in the beginning, we're gonna do the 30-minute quick sketch, and then we're gonna go straight back to it. If you only want to see one of these topics, either the quick sketch or the figurine, you should find timestamps in the description. Still need to add them from last week as well as this week, so we'll see when I get to it. But yeah, I mean, you can also just look at in the timeline and see where the preview kind of shows you the compilation, which is like a small, you know, sort of small, or when I started sculpting the body, basically. And then you should, you know, find what you're looking for, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more to say. Let's go straight into Blender and look at what we're going to sculpt today. Here's the quick sketch reference, this little fluffy entertainer, as I like to call them. And of course, with these quick sketches, I don't really focus on the body. I really only focus on the head, because you know, 30 minutes doesn't really give me a lot of time for, you know, for anything. So I usually focus on the head, which is what we're gonna do here too. But at least we can add some asymmetry too with the ear and also the eye, I guess the expression, let's say. So that's you know, something we don't do every time, but this time we can do it. Yeah, if you want to see who the artist is, let's go in here. There you go, Nicholas Cole. On our station, you can see he's uploaded a few sketches together. You can check out his stuff here if you want on our station. There you go. Yep. There you go. Okay, let's go back to Blender. And I mean, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it, because then we have as much time as possible for Chun-Li. I'm really excited for today, because today we kind of, you know, shape the basis of everything else. I think I want to start with the body and then go into the face, because the face requires probably its own stream. So I probably want to start with the body and then afterwards go into the face. That's going to be the plan. Yeah, I think everything's ready, so we can begin. Where's my timer? There it is. Perfect. I would say we can begin in 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually excited to finish this project because then I have another project that I can 3D print. That is sort of the main, I guess that's one of the things why I do this project, because I wanted to do another 3D print. And this is the perfect sort of combination of multiple projects or multiple things that I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to practice human anatomy a little bit more. I wanted to, I guess, do another 3D print. And I wanted to do, you know, we wanted to sculpt Chun-Li at some point anyway. So now this, you know, perfectly combines all of these goals, I guess, or all of these plans into one, which I love the most. If I can combine multiple things into one, then, you know, that's always the best kind of project. And yeah, so this will be fun, and it will be interesting to see what it will look like in the end. And yeah, basically, let's see, let's kind of look at the base shapes here first. Of course, tomorrow, I mean next week, we're also going to do another follow along sculpting session again. Very excited about that, and a female character this time, which is going to be interesting. I think that one I'm going to do, I think now that I've sort of you know, got a taste of how it sort of will go, or, you know, sort of I've gotten a taste of one follow along sculpting session. I kind of want to adjust a few things here and there. Stuff like the pace, I think I want to do a little bit faster. I think for like a full-on head, you know, you kind of need to always, or you know, to kind of sculpt the full-on head, you kind of have to at least get or be used to the sculpting tools. So I don't want to explain like every move exactly, like how I do it, how I get to it, and stuff like that, more theoretically, and then sort of sculpting during it. Not like, you know, like I think what I did a lot last time for Ryu on Tuesday is that I sort of explained how I did it too, which I think prolonged the process a little bit more. Like I said, oh, okay, now I'm going to grab my crease brush and, you know, detail the body a little bit more, or detail the head a little bit more. I use my crease brush, hold control, you know, I always like this, I always said like hold control to do this and that. But I think if you, if you've used the, if you've been sculpting for a while, then I think you know most of what I'm saying there anyway, and I don't need to repeat that all the time. So I think the next one will be a little bit quicker, you know. I still want to make it, of course, sort of accessible on stream too, but it's kind of a hard mix between the two, you know, kind of making it accessible for the stream and also making it accessible for the, as a video. Because for, you know, in one you can you can pause, and the other one you can't really pause. So you kind of have to figure out like a good, I guess, mix still. But we'll get there, okay? It's early in the year. There's enough time. Time is never running out. It just runs away from you if you let it. Well, it's running out, but, you know, it's not... And, you know, I'm not close to it running out, hopefully at least. You never know. I think I also want to do more multiple projects at once, like the one that we do right now. Well, it's not necessarily a side... Well, yeah, like, for example, like being able to switch between multiple projects. I kind of like that. I want to do that more. So right now, for example, we have the follow along sculpting session that I probably want to do every Monday, or probably on the same day every time. And then then we have the Chun-Li figurine right now, and probably something else after that. Just something, you know, to kind of mix and match the two, or maybe even three, so that there's you know, a little bit of variety in the weight, for example. I think that's pretty. I think I want to do that more than what I did. How I did it last year, I guess. I remember, I think I had at least twice I had 2 months where I just worked on the same project, which kind of, you know, it's kind of course, if you don't work on it the whole time, it'll take longer, but at least you can have a little bit more variety, which I at least welcome. And probably, you know, if somebody's watching the stream, they would probably too. So I want to do that more. Okay, let's add some cheeks here. We don't have a lot right here. Let's add some more. Add some real structure into this. A little beard, you could say. There you go. Right down here. And then we can go to the chin. Cool. It's interesting how you can really focus on certain aspects of a character and still give them sort of like a certain look. So, for example, if you look at the sort of fur that is here on the outside, which is quite long, if you kind of set it up in a certain way, it kind of looks like a beard and makes it look more human, or kind of you can represent a person, for example, in an animal by just changing or by just sort of highlighting a certain part of his face. With their face, for example, here in the front, you know, making this, for example, and putting it in the front too, kind of makes it look like he has like a beard, which is pretty cool. And then you could also make the fur a little bit, you know, a little bit finer, a little bit shorter, and then it'll look a little bit more, I guess, I don't know, you know, a little bit more feminine or childlike. There you go. Okay, I want to bring the eye a little bit closer. I think it's too far away right now. We need some more room in the middle. That's better. Okay, let's go to the rest. We need some ears. How about that? Let's add some ears and then also some, I guess maybe a neck too. I want to add the neck first. I think that's more important right now. Of course, the ears are also very important for a rabbit, but I want to do the ears first. I mean the neck first. It's sort of hidden here. You can't really see it properly, but I think I can still sort of guess what it would look like. So let's put that into reality. There you go. Invert. Okay, he's sort of leaning forward, so his neck, I mean his head is a little bit further forward. His neck is sort of, you know, diagonally forward, which is natural, but even more than, you know, than what would be natural. It's always kind of weird to put a neck on animals that are usually, you know, standing on all four paws or whatever, and then they're actually standing like humans. You know, putting a neck on them is always kind of weird because the head is sort of built in a way, I guess, where the neck would just go straight backwards, but then they stand, so you kind of have to add like a small angle, or, you know, like a whatever, like a yeah, like an angle to it, which is kind of weird. There you go. Make it wider. Okay. I think that's okay. Maybe his shoulders are a little bit too thin. I also want to give him a more puffy chest, so we're going to add some more chest hair here. A rabbit with a lot of chest hair, very masculine. There you go. I want to remove this so I can work on the neck a little bit easier. make a nice transition here to the rest of the head. Looks kind of weird here in the back, maybe. There you go. Okay. Looks still kind of weird, but I guess that's just how it is. I'm not gonna fiddle around with it too much. It'll just cost too much time. Just gonna kind of try to, you know, continue. Ignore the problems. Just continue. That'll work out well, hopefully. Maybe. Usually doesn't, but, you know, you never know. I'm actually really excited to see the end result for of today. How far we can go. I hope we can do the full body. I don't think we can do the full detailed body, but at least, you know, the main shapes and the pose fully done, so that we can then at some point detail it out a little bit more. Maybe, you know, add another level of resolution and then go over to the head. I also need to figure out what I want to do for the head, because the head is, of course, well, not the head, but the hair is, I can't use particle hair, so I kind of need to do something else. Maybe I could actually use my hair kit for once, you know, which I haven't done before. That could be a cool one to use, to create the hair. I haven't used it before. I've made it and then I never used it. So maybe now is a good time to use it. I just don't know exactly how well the 3D printer can print them then, but I think if you merge them all together and you make them, you know, you let them, yeah, I just need to kind of, I guess, you know, it'll work, I guess, maybe, but maybe not as good as it might seem, or as it could. I don't know. Yeah, it just, you know, experiments to see how it works. I can't really, you know, think about what it could do. I just need to do it and see what it does, so that I can then, you know, I don't know, change my plans or whatever. No point in theorizing. Let's add ears now. Put one here on this side. We're gonna do one after another, because I want to add the asymmetry immediately. For the face, I'm not gonna do that, but for the eyes, I think that makes sense. For the ears, I mean. So this one will be a little bit tilted back here. I don't want to make them too long, so I probably want to start off already tilted. So that's better, yeah. And then we can fine tune the shape a little bit here. The ear's way too long, but that's okay. There you go. That looks nice and thin. That's good. Let's add the middle part here. You know, ear isn't filled. It is basically just like a small cup, I guess, that catches the sound waves. So let's hollow it out, I guess. There you go. Looks good to me. How much more space do we have here? I think that there's still some more room. Let's go a little bit further until we reach the end. Actually, no, I want to stop there. I don't want to go too far. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice and smooth. Let's finish the ear here up top by dragging it out just a little bit more. There you go. Change the shape. Perfect. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go to the other one now. For the other one, of course, it's already, you know, falling down. So let's see what we can do there. Yeah. Starting here on the side and doing the same first, creating the same shape here, and then just, you know, sculpting a different ear, I guess. Grabbing it. Zip. Oh, hello. And then going down like this. Maybe a little bit more to the side. That is perfect. Of course, it's way too thin right now, but we can easily just stretch that out. Good old snake hook tool, one of my favorite tools. I think I use usually like 5 or so, not much more. The other ones are more, you know, like situational if you really need them, but I think that's really how they're designed. You need, you know, a few just to kind of create most of it, and then there are a few instances where you can maybe use other ones which are probably more effective in very specific cases. And yeah, that's how I use them. I don't use the boundary brush, for example, a lot, which, you know, it's not really used, or it's not really useful for sculpting anyway, because it's only really, it kind of relies on, first of all, good topology, second of all, on, I guess, flat planes. And usually if you sculpt characters or whatever, I guess you have flat planes on your clothing, that's where it works, but on characters you don't really need it. And then the simplify brush, I don't really need a hotkey for it, because I use it once or twice on a character, not really much more. And then the other ones, you know, are just, yeah, there are a lot of niche sculpting tools that you know, that you don't really need that often, and you don't really need a shortcut for them. Oh, there you go. There we have the ear. Perfect. Let's smooth it. Okay. That looks pretty cool. Let's go to... Oh, hold on. The ear has a little bit of a... I want to make this thinner here. That's better. It transitioned kind of weirdly into the head, so I wanted to kind of fix that. There you go. It does the same on this side, so let's fix it. Zip. Perfect. Okay. I think we can go actually. First of all, I'm gonna save. Otherwise, you know what will happen. 3, 4, 7. Okay. I think I want to go over to the. Actually, no. I kind of want to go a little bit higher in resolution. But I think before I want to do that, I want to fine-tune everything a little bit. It doesn't really look right just right now. I want to fine-tune it a little bit more. So let's do that first. Oh. Need to reactivate symmetry, otherwise this will be annoying. So let's grab that, pull it up. There you go. Perfect. That's already better. More structure in the face. We already have, I want to do some more here. Add some more structure here. Looks quite flat right now. Getting better, getting better. Okay. Another one is that I want to add eyelids to the eyes. Because otherwise they look kind of weird. Or sort of detail-less, I guess. Adding them can really add, a new level of detail to the eyes. There you go. Down here we could maybe give it some more structure too. Make a nice little cheekbone here. Little cheeky cheekbone. I'm glad that the Windows glitch only, or fix itself, usually does, where it doesn't recognize the tablet as a tablet or whatever, and then it shows this weird, alt control and whatever in like a small in a small box next to the cursor, which nobody needs, nobody wanted, but they added it. And I think every time it doesn't recognize the tablet, it shows that for some reason. But luckily it usually fixes itself. I think, yeah, I don't know, something happens maybe with the driver maybe crashes or whatever, and then, you know, you're just sitting there with a basically halfway broken halfway broken tablet. Just hope, you know, kind of still working with it. The sensitivity isn't the same, and, you know, that's pretty annoying, but at least it doesn't happen that often. I don't want to add clothing because that would take way too long. So I think what I want to do now is probably go into the... Oh wow. Into the next step. Which is more detail. Because we have 9 minutes left and... yeah. Or should I... No, let's do asymmetry first and then we can go into detail. I think that's better. So we're gonna do the expression first, and then we're gonna do the other thing. Add more detail, because the expression is more important. Okay. That's the eye expression, I mean. Let's add the eyebrows into it. We have this one here. Making this eyebrow a little bit more angry, you could say. Doesn't necessarily supposed to look angry, it's more supposed to... I don't know how you would call it otherwise. Like, you know, frowning, I guess. On one side. Teasing. And then the other side is more relaxed, you know, more open. There you go. Let's add the mouth. The mouth is quite low res right now, so I'm just gonna definitely use some more use some more detail here, some more structure. This doesn't have any structure right now. Let's give it some. There you go. Perfect. Little cheek right here. And then let's go ahead and... Actually, I think I want to go into more detail now. Or, hold on, should I... I want to add the mouth too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this piece. And I'm just going to drag it down a little bit. I also want to tilt it a little bit, make it more asymmetrical. There you go. I don't really know how I want to do the teeth. Maybe I'll just add a cylinder in the middle. That could probably work quite well. Of course, he's not going to be toothless or teethless. No, toothless. There you go. That's pretty good. The chin, yeah, that's good. Let's save it and let's go into more detail. We have 5 minutes left. That's perfect. 50. There you go. Goes into the nose. I think I want to mainly use the crease brush. That's what I usually do when I use the when I refine everything. the crease brush is really, really good to just kind of, you know, add more detail to everything. You could also use the flatten brush, I think, to do that. No, not the flatten brush. Is it the flatten brush? It is, but it's kind of, yeah, it doesn't work that well. What I would rather use is either the fill or the scrape brush to refine the edges here, for example. See how well that works. There you go. And then we go to the top. I want to add some furry structure here, so we're going to just use the clay strips brush and just kind of do these nice little stripes here to add some more structure. There you go. Perfect. Okay. I definitely want to go into the mouth now, because we don't really have any structure in the mouth still. Even though I already went over it, it's still very, 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 I guess you could say blurry, in the sense that it doesn't have any clear corners, edges, or whatever. He also has little whiskers, which I probably want to add too, because they sort of, I think they can make a big difference. We saw it yesterday with the one, you know, from yesterday's quick sketch. So I kind of want to add them here too. But I want to do the mouth first. So the thing is that it is so wide apart right now because of the crease brush and how I used it. What we can do to fix it is we can use the pinch brush to pull it back together, and that will really change the overall look of it. Well, it doesn't really change the look necessarily, but it sort of tightens everything up and makes it clearer what it actually is supposed to be. We're going to do that soon. Oh, you know what? We can do it probably right now. Where's my pinch brush? There it is. Pull it together. Sometimes you can kind of change the structure of the the structure around it, but usually it works quite well. The mouth looks kind of weird right now. It's kind of fix it or adjust it. At least, you know, if you can't fix it, then adjust it in hopes that it works, that it fixes it. You know, all you can do is try. Doesn't mean that you will succeed. Two minutes. Okay, I'm gonna add the teeth in afterwards. I think right now he just kind of looks weird because he has no teeth. People look very, very different without teeth, and so do animals. I do not want to see a mouse without teeth. They probably just look like they're shocked the whole time, or they're in awe like the whole time. Because usually their teeth are like so big in their mouth that they, you know, kind of have their mouth open the whole time. Or they don't have it open, but, you know, it is basically open, but the teeth block it, so you can't see into the mouth. Okay. You can see how very easily we can add some fur structure here to the eyebrow too, by just, you know, drawing these individual stripes. Very, very simple. Simple and easy. There you go, look at that. Oh, hello, ear. I don't think we need to change the ears too much. I think the ears are in a pretty good place, but I want to go over the eyes a little bit more. 30 seconds, perfect. There you go. And perfect. Is the reference from something specific or just something random you thought was cool to make? Usually I go to Pinterest and I have my, I guess, my pin board with inspirations or creatures or whatever. And then I just click on more ideas and I look through those, and usually I find some, yeah, just some cool characters, monsters, or whatever that I think are cool that you know, that you could do in 30 minutes basically. I don't, you know, some people ask if I draw them myself, but I don't. I just grab them from Pinterest and then, you know, try to recreate them in 3D. Okay, perfect. First of all, welcome, Alexander. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Maybe you're already excited for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday. I am pretty excited. Friday is usually my chill day, where I just do whatever. You know, play games or watch YouTube videos, I guess, or whatever, you know. Okay, perfect. Let's go. And oh, I want to add the whiskers, so let's do that as the last thing, and then we can go to the next part. Lighting. We have quite a lot of time today, which is great for Chun-Li, so we could probably get a lot done, which is great. Because the faster we're done with it, the faster I can 3D print it. Little mustache there. Ooh, look at that. Perfect, the first one. Let's add another one. Oh, I just already pulled it out. That's pretty good. Not as long as the other one, but that's okay. Let's do this side, and then we're done. Okay, yeah, maybe it's a little bit too thin. We could maybe increase the magnify here to 0.6 to mitigate that. That works quite well. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's do one more, and then we're good. Or should we make an offset? 3 on one side, 2 on the other? That could be cool. Let's do that. Do you mean the snake hook brush? To pull stuff out? Yeah, it's really good. It's basically the the alternative to the grab brush. Well, it's not necessarily an alternative, but they have different uses. The snake hook brush, for example, creates new geometry in dynamic topology mode, whereas the grab brush just moves geometry. So they have sort of different, I guess, different ways you would use them. Okay, that's too thick. Always like a small. Always hard to kind of get it right when it comes to the size of these little masks. That should be good enough. Oh, hello. Okay, I don't want to make it straight down. I want to pull it maybe over here. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Perfect. There you go. Okay, let's add some eyes and then some oh, let's add the teeth first. Guess I'll just use a cylinder. That's probably, or we can probably just use a cube with a subdivision modifier applied to it. Because then if we need to sort of change the shape, we can still do it very easily. I don't think we need to though. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Oh, eyes. I actually, could we use human eyes? Let's see. Let's see what they look like. Let's grab them. Good old buck teeth, exactly. What do I need? I need my base mesh eye object. There it is. Welcome back, Zachary. Welcome. It's not Eastern yet, but we're already doing a bunny or a rabbit, whatever you want to call it. Let's put those in and see if they work or if they look kind of creepy. Okay. I don't think they're gonna work, but let's see. They might work. Let's see. Maybe they can be a little bit bigger, although they might not fit now. Yeah, they're a little bit too big now. Let's see. We make them a little bit smaller. We can also change the eye shape a little bit to fix that, but let's see what it looks like first. I think I need to lower them a little bit. There you go. Okay, now let's go back to the sculpt real quick and just kind of fix the eyes. Eyeless rabbit? I don't know. I don't think that looked that great. I already talked about toothless rabbits or toothless mice, what they would look like. I don't want to do an eyeless rabbit. There you go. Let's see. Oh, that works quite well. I guess. I guess it works. We could give him blue eyes. Hold on. There it is. Color. Ooh. It's interesting, but I don't know if it works that well. We can make it darker too. No, I like brown eyes more. They have more contrast. Red eyes. Oh. No, we're gonna stick with this. Okay. I like the whiskers. They really added very, very subtle detail to the sculpt. Okay, there you go. Look at that. Perfect. I don't know if this eye looks great, but we're not gonna change it now, and so the expression might be a little bit scuffed. Doesn't matter. We're sticking to our guns. Perfect. Let's add... Oh, we need light first, otherwise we can't really see anything. I'm in the wrong... There it is. Oh. I wanted to append from the same file, from this file, which of course doesn't work. There it is. Let's see. So I think I want to make this one soft too, so the size of the light up top looks pretty good already, but I probably want to place it somewhere else. Maybe more on this side. So we have a cool little reflection in the eye on the right side here. This one. And then maybe we could use the other one, this one, to maybe even light this side more. Like that, and then we can use this one to just give it a nice color. Right there. So let's see, what would be a good color? Welcome, Night Owl. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Hope you had a great day. Let's see. Oh, before we do that, hold on. We need the quick sculpt material. There it is. Perfect. Gives it a little bit more structure. We can maybe even increase the blacks a little bit. Maybe not too much. The teeth look kind of... let's actually add a new material here, which we're going to make glossy. Maybe that can help too. Maybe we could also be a little bit further in the mouth. Give it more depth. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. Okay. I also want to rotate this just slightly. I think they can give it a little bit more character. There you go. Let's see if it actually looks better on the other side. I'm hesitant to use that. It both looks kind of weird. I think the eyes look kind of weird, but I think I'm gonna stick with this. Let me do one change, maybe. I think that'll work better if this down here is relaxed. I wanted to push it up because he does this, but this looks more relaxed and more sleek. Yeah, it's definitely better. It looks still kind of like his eye is infected, but that's okay. There you go. One more thing that I want to do, I want to go in here and I want to rotate his neck a little bit. And then we're good. This looking good. Did you sculpt this just today or just render project? This is the quick sketch. So I think the timer ran out, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. So I'm just doing a few adjustments here and there, and then we have the final project. I mean, final render. There you go. Low, rotate, sculpt. Oh, hello. Pivot to mask border. That's working great. Didn't work at all. Let's try it again. Why? Is it already on mask border? No way. It's not, but I guess we can try. What now? How about now? Okay, I guess it's already on the mask border. Nope, it's not, but I guess... Let's see what it looks like if I just rotate it now. I guess it works. There you go. Give it a light rotation on this side too. Maybe even this direction. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Okay, now he looks kind of crazy. I don't know what it is. It looks kind of weird now. What if I lower the eyes? Oh, I don't know why, but sometimes they glitch out the eyes. I don't really know why. They just become like they're just pure black for some reason. I haven't figured out why yet. Sometimes if I lower them too much. Yeah, well, they're just black now. I don't really know why. Maybe it has something to do with the settings. Oh, maybe with this? Nah, no. Maybe. What about making this white? Okay, that doesn't do anything. Well. That doesn't do anything either. Well. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Could you increase the subdivision to make the eyelid look sharper? Yeah. But I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of figure out if I can do it without having to add more resolution. Okay. Maybe the other eye looks kind of weird too, but you know what? Come on, let's do a few more changes here. I don't want to give you up. I don't want to let you down. There you go, I'm gonna do this then. Maybe the expression was a little bit too much. That's better. Not as extreme. I guess I'm gonna keep it there. Okay, well, you know, it is what it is, okay? I'm not gonna work on it anymore. We're gonna leave it exactly how it is right now. Nightbot is mad at you. Nightbot just, you know, he's very sensitive sometimes. He has epilepsy, so if you know, if you spam too many emojis or too many big letters, he removes them, otherwise he's gonna get a seizure. There you go. Oh, hold on. One more thing. Depth of field. It's the open eye plus the almost closed eye that makes him look crazy, I think. Yeah, but it works here. Hold on, it works here. No, exactly there, you see it? I mean, this one. It works here, but I think I would have to kind of figure it out a little, or kind of fine-tune it more, but I don't want to do that now. So I'll just leave it crazy. What is that sickness called for animals where they sort of become crazy? Frenzy? You know, where they that can actually get transferred to humans too when they bite you. Oh, hello. That's not what I wanted. There you go. Let's do it again. Never gonna say goodbye. Rabies? Is it that? I don't know. I actually don't know. I know the one for... Let's see. I know what it's called in German, but I don't know what it's called in English. Oh. Yeah, it's rabies. Okay. He looks like he has rabies. There you go. Dispersion 0.05. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Well, that's it. I don't think Nightbot's gonna react. He's just like Batman. He's sitting in the shadows until someone angers him, and then he's gonna strike. And then he's gone again. You'll never see him again until you challenge him. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's do some Photoshop action. Use the silent bot in the night. Only striking when you don't expect it. I think it's the eyebrow in that reference that makes it work. Yeah. I think it's like a mix between the eyebrow and the eyelids. But now it's too late, you know? You just have to accept your losses. There you go. Okay. Let's give it at least some more appeal. Taking a drawn expression and translating it into 3D is quite a challenge. Yeah, it can be. I think what I usually do is I kind of try to I would think how I would do the expression, and then I try to put that into the character that I'm sculpting. That's how I usually do it. Because sometimes just drawn expressions just don't work, you know? And then maybe I want to make it pink, actually. Sometimes, yeah, you kind of have to, I guess, you have to kind of improvise. I don't want to make it too hot. Oh, it's actually quite bright already. But there's some more time, some more room for shadows. There you go. Texture, clarity, and vibrance. The trio of appeal. And then, of course, color grading. I want to make this pinkish. A little pink rabbit. Actually, or blue. Let's see what blue looks like compared to... Or in contrast to this pink. There you go. Let's see. I think that's pretty cool. It's a cool combination, bright blue and this very vibrant pink. One more thing, of course, not geometry, but effects. First, we will remove the grain with denoising, and now we're going to add it back in because it looks cool. There you go. Okay. You know, as long as you make it look like it was intended this way, it's not bad anymore. Just call it, you know, just call it intentional. There you go. Perfect. Oh. Oh, save it once more. Perfect. Oh. We have quite a lot of time today, which is great. More time for Chun-Li. Chun-Li? I don't know how you would say it. Yeah, we're gonna start with the body for Chun-Li, and then we're gonna go to the face. I think the face requires its own stream because I, you know, want to spend at least some time on it, you know. And to spend some time on it, I need more than just an hour, for example. Let's save it. There you go. Go back to Blender. And then we're basically done with the quick sketch. Oh. Perfect. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So, as always, I'm going to upload the image to social media. You're going to see a quick compilation. And then we're going to go straight back to not Cami. I don't know why I always want to say Cami. To Chun-Li. Let me show you what we did yesterday. So we created the base mesh. Looks pretty boring, but we explored, or we learned more about human anatomy, more about especially the fingers. They were kind of a problem, let's call it. How you kind of separate the 3 finger bones was kind of, I guess, weird, let's say. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start by sort of fine-tuning the proportions, and then we're going to go into the pose. And once we have that, we can combine most of it, except for the head, and then we can, I guess, you know, go deeper into the human anatomy, let's call it. So yeah, you're gonna see the compilation, 3 minutes, and then we're gonna go straight into this. Hope you enjoyed the compilation, and I'll see you then. Okay. We're back. We're back and we're ready to start with the main character. Okay? Main character of the story, of today's story. So, after finishing the basement yesterday, let's go straight back to what we ended yesterday's stream, which is fine-tuning these shapes into something that looks more human. Let me pull up my references real quick and then we can begin. So yeah, one thing is that we discussed yesterday was the mechanic, let's call it, or the benefit of using linked, I guess, limbs you could call it, so that you can link the right leg, the right thigh, for example, to the left thigh, and then if you pose it, you can still sort of have the same benefit that you would have when you mirror something, in that you can change the shape of one side and the other side changes too, even though the character has an asymmetric pose. That's the great benefit of linking stuff. Of course, the problem then at some point arises when you want to, I guess, fine-tune the pose in where, of course, if you have an asymmetric pose, the muscles would look different on each side. But of course, at least for maybe the first half, you can use it, and it's very, very useful. We're going to use that here too, of course. I already linked everything. It was kind of tedious, but now it's done. Okay. Now we can benefit. First we've sown, and now we can reap. Okay. Okay. So, of course, I guess you could say the main characteristic of Chun-Li, you could say, would be her legs. She's fighting most with her legs. She's, I guess her outfit sort of highlights them too. So that's, I guess, the most important thing to get right. Okay, there you go. So yeah, we're gonna, I guess, kind of look into everything, into all the proportions. Of course, one thing is, usually this, at least Street Fighter characters usually don't necessarily only, for example, for her, not only her legs are, I guess, big and everything else is sort of normal, like small, I guess you could say, or more female size, you could say. But everything has, you know, is a little bit bigger because, well, they're fighters, so that everything kind of has to be bigger because if they're always training or always fighting, they would naturally be fit everywhere. Which, yes, is also correct for her. So we don't only need to make the legs bigger, but also the arms and all that. Finally, I can use normal sensitivities again. Yesterday, after that weird glitch, everything, you know, got weaker and I needed to apply more pressure, but now finally I can use my standard pressure again. It's been painful. The butt, I guess. I mean, I would say the butt is part of the legs, so you know. It's you know, it's one part. So of course the butt will be bigger too. If you want to squat a lot, you do not only need a big legs. Yeah, so I want to go into the legs first. Of course, they will kind of weird in the beginning, just because everything else is still kind of, I guess, slim. But of course, we're going to go through everything step by step. One thing that could kind of be kind of weird is that usually, of course, people don't have like these huge, I guess, legs. So it might look a little bit unnatural, but I think that's just how it is, you know. You know, usually we kind of see something as, I guess, weird or unrealistic when we don't really see it in real life. And these huge muscles might be, you know, one of these things that we don't see that often. So it might appear kind of weird. Okay, we don't have any knees right now, so let's add that. It kind of looks like bees, insect knees right now, where they have the very, very tiny little connection between the two leg bones or leg pieces. So let's go to the knee and kind of give it some more volume here because it needs it. As I said in the last feedback session, there is quite a lot of, well, the knees have some volume to them. They're not just, you know, they're not just, I guess you could say, super, super thin. They have some thickness to them just because the muscles sort of go around them. The muscles in the thighs need to go to the bone. Well, you know, the muscles in the body always have to attach to two bones. And if the muscles, or usually the muscles in the, I guess, secondary parts of the body, so the ones that are not connected to the spine directly, like the arms or the legs, for example, the muscles are basically never really connected to the bone they're closest to, I guess you could say, or they're lying next to. So for example, for the bicep isn't really connected to the upper arm bone. It's connected to the lower arm bone, to the forearm bone, and then also to I think it's the what is the bone called again? I already forgot. The I had it yesterday. Come on. it's this bone here, the clavicle, I guess. I think it's the clavicle, right? Yeah. The clavicle. I think it's connected to that, and not really to the I guess the bone it is sort of sitting next to. That's one thing to keep in mind. And always when you want to make poses, for example, for a character, always kind of think about what muscles are involved in that pose, and then think about where these muscles would be attached and how the muscles would act. Muscles have two ways to act. They can either be flexed, so I guess compressed and thicker, or they can be stretched, so longer and thinner. And this way you can sort of if you go through the entire pose and kind of think about every single movement and how that works, you can sort of intuitively, and with reference then of course to work, create a pose. So if you say, well, you know, they're doing like this, then of course the biceps has to flex, so it gets, you know, shorter and also thicker. The triceps has to stretch, so it gets, you know, longer and thinner. And the shoulder also too, because the shoulder needs to lift the arm. So the shoulder in the front at least needs to flex, and in the back it's more stretched, stuff like that. Same with the latissimus is also flexed. I mean, stretched. The base mesh also looks kind of weird before, just because the pieces aren't really connected. So as you can see here, it looks kind of like a wasp, you know, all these pieces are just single pieces. And now by using the sculpt tools, we can kind of merge them together a little bit more, make them more look like they're one shape that works together rather than, you know, multiple pieces that are just kind of connected with each other. Maybe we can even sculpt in the knee right there. Perfect. The outer part too. Here goes down to the calf, not the calf. The calf is the muscle, I think, itself. That bone, lower leg bone right there. See, it already looks way more than actual legs than before. More like actual legs than before. Let's go to the feet. The feet look kind of weird right now. They look like boots, so let's change that. Of course, she's gonna wear boots in the end, so we don't need to care about it too much, but at least I kind of want to fine-tune the shape a little bit. Alt Q to change the shape, of course. I mean, to change the object. Still the worst decision ever. To change that hotkey from D to Alt Q, but I guess there must be a reason for it. Which I don't know. Okay. Of course, I also have my my real life reference here, not 3D printed, but bought. Look at that. There he is. You've probably seen him before, which I can also use, for example, for the legs. There you go. For the feet especially. Feet are kind of weird for me still. So I can use them very well to just kind of, you know, fine-tune it. There are some very subtle changes, or some very subtle, I guess, volumes in the body, which are kind of hard to just kind of intuitively know. You kind of just have to learn them, and you know, you can really only learn them if you sculpt them, or observe them rather. Oftentimes I actually learn stuff without really sculpting them, but more looking at images, for example, and then just suddenly having like this realization, oh my god, that's how that looks, and that's why it looks that way, you know? Usually I actually don't really have those while sculpting, but more when I just kind of observe people, or maybe even, yeah, just images, for example, or when I just think about stuff. But then of course you still have to put in the practice to kind of manifest it, or kind of, I guess, to keep it in your mind. It's like a mistake, you know, you learn, you kind of realize it, and then you still need to, I guess, do it again to sort of see that what you thought is right, and then, you know, how you do it better next time. Only really realizing that or only really like saying to yourself, oh, I did this wrong, doesn't really help you. You know, you kind of always have to, I guess, confirm that what you had in mind is right. You know, sometimes maybe you think, oh, maybe this is wrong, but then you kind of realize afterwards, well, maybe, you know, this is actually not wrong, but something else is wrong. If you wouldn't have sculpted and kind of tried your new technique, then you would never have seen that your suspicion might have been wrong. And then you're sitting there clueless. I think the legs look kind of not the wrists, but the ankles look kind of wide right now. I kind of want to make them a little bit thinner. That's better. You know, only really, if you work out, only really the muscles get bigger, not really the bones. So you know, you might increase the ankle size when you want to create more muscular characters, but usually that's not really the case. The ankles don't really change their size, only really the muscles around them. And if there aren't really any muscles around some ankles, like the wrist, for example, then, you know, they still stay pretty thin. And if you still increase their size, then it looks kind of weird. Okay, so the legs look pretty okay, I think. We can probably do more there, but I want to go through the entire body first before I go into more detail with with the legs. I actually thought about rotating the chest a little bit further back. Let's see. Make it a little bit more stylized. Let's see what that looks like. Like that. And then we of course have to move everything else back too. Arms too. The only thing you always have to kind of keep in mind is that if you do any changes in edit mode on these linked objects, that they're not going to be transferred to the other side too. So if we move one side, the other side won't move, for example. We always have to move both. The only thing that changes or that is linked is what you do here in edit mode. So you could move them back in edit mode, but of course then your pivot point would be somewhere in Nirvana. Let's go to the chest piece. Oh, symmetry is off, of course. Why would it not be off? I'll try to keep symmetry on as long as possible before I, deactivate it. Because it's a very helpful feature. Who might have guessed? Can you save you a lot of time? So why would I not use it? Of course, it's a little bit harder to sculpt without dynamic topology, for example, but it's still very, very, very beneficial when it comes to the overall workflow, especially when you worked on linked objects. Linked objects are not linked anymore if you use dynamic topology, because it only really links each other. Well, you can only really link objects that have the same geometry, and of course, dynamic topology changes that geometry. So of course then you can't have any, it's not linked anymore. Okay, we have the neck here. Let's actually create a little bit of a collarbone here. That's it. That's the other name. Clavicle or collarbone. It's not colorful, it's just color with C-O-L-L, okay. Oh. I always have to check the symmetry, whether it's deactivated or not, because it likes to do that. It likes to deactivate it for some reason. I don't know why, but I think if you usually, if you apply the modifier, it just tends to deactivate it. I don't really know why, but it just does it. So you always have to be aware of it. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble. Oh, of course I need to switch the object. There you go. Okay. There you go. Okay, we're getting there. We already have the chest and the waist. Let's go to the arms now. I would, of course, add some more muscular arms. As I said before, she's a fighter, so she's not just going to have, like, normal, let's call it, arms. Untrained and, I guess, you know, thin and weak. She's going to have, you know, developed shoulders, you know, developed muscles, maybe even lean. So what you kind of have to keep in mind for her, for example, is she still has she has a very muscular body, but she still has a layer of fat on top of everything, because she is still very, I guess her body is still very smooth. If you have a very low amount of fat, you see the muscles more, of course, and then if you have a high amount of fat, of course, it's a little bit, you know, you see them less, which means that the body looks smoother, I guess, the proportions or the muscles. And I think she has like a, you know, a little bit of fat on top of her muscles, which makes her look a little bit smoother and gives actually, you know, more volume, for example, to the legs or yeah, the body itself. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind when you yeah, work on characters. The fat is always important. You can never run away from the fat, okay? Not in real life, not in sculpting. Fat is always important. You might thought you could have gotten away with it, couldn't have gotten away from it in 3D, but never. I wonder what whatever is. Yeah, it's good old bot message that everybody should not click. I wonder what would pop up, but I'm not that curious. My PC broke once. I don't want to do it again. I couldn't use my PC for like 2 months, or I didn't have my PC for 2 months because a friend of my dad was supposed to repair it, but they got so busy that they sort of, you know, I guess it took them 2 or 3 months to do it. To this day I have PTSD from that. I think the only thing that I did in that time was play Switch. Yeah, I think I just played Breath of the Wild most of the time. Because I didn't have, you know, and I watched YouTube videos. I couldn't really do much more because, you know, I don't really have anything. I couldn't really, you know, play game. Well, yeah, you know, I'd only have... I could go out, but, you know, who would do that? Fat will always be watching. Exactly, always around the corner. You turn around, it's not there. If you turn back around, it's watching again. You can never run away from it. There's no escape. Okay, that's getting closer to what I want. That's better. Perfect. Let's go to the arms. Arms look kind of thin right now. We need some more volume here. Okay. And then once we have everything within good proportions, then the fun begins. I think this one is, well, as long as it's sculpting, it's cool. But, you know, this one's still preparing the main scope, but then once we get into the main scope, then the fun begins. In my opinion. I remember the first sort of figurine that I wanted to create was for Fury, the game, F-U-R-I. And what I did there is I just kind of started sculpting, you know. Immediately sculpting the pose. I didn't really have that much experience in sculpting bodies anyway. It quickly went down. It didn't really work out that well. Since then I've learned. Okay, that was, I think, probably like 2 years ago. Welcome back, Bad Influence. Hope you enjoyed your Tuesday and your new year. I'm pretty good. I've been doing pretty good. New year started pretty well for me. Hope it did for you too. For everybody, of course. And it can only get better. Well, not necessarily, I guess. But I hope it only gets better. Let's say that. It's always cool to think, kind of set yourself goals. If you have something you're kind of working towards, kind of set yourself goals and then see at the end of the year how far you've gotten. And if you really pursue it, how much more you can sort of achieve than you've thought before. Mine was good too, nice. As you can see, we're doing another project. After finishing the Reaper figurine quite a while ago, I want to do a new one. This one I'm actually going to 3D print. The Reaper I won't, because it would require too much preparation, I guess you could say. Which I don't want to do. I would rather work on new projects and then, you know, print those instead of, I guess, you know, preparing old ones. 2020 New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'm not really a fan of sort of New Year's resolution in the way that I guess that sort of everybody knows them. Like, oh, you know, this year I'm gonna do this, and then in January you kind of, I guess, or at the end of the January you decide that you don't want to do it then. Like, if you're done, you don't want to do it actually. Like, oh, I want to be, you know, I think the best example would be like, oh, I want to go to the gym, you know, I want to be fit. And then at the end of January, you stop going to the gym, you stop, you know, you give up that goal. I don't really like sort of changing. Yeah, so I think that is mainly because you sort of change your life or your, I guess, not workflow, but your sort of your lifestyle very, very quickly, which is very, very hard to keep up. It requires a lot of discipline, and it's very hard, you know, to keep it up, which you know, a lot of people don't want to do. because they realize, well, it's not that important for me to be fit, and then, you know, they just go back to what they did before. So I kind of like it more to sort of set myself goals and, well, think about what I want to do in a year, and then sort of think about how I can achieve that, and then sort of slowly get to how I want to do that. Not, you know, kind of looking at the whole year, not saying like, oh, I want to do this now, rather like, oh, I want to do this. I want to get into this, basically. Not I want to do this now, because I think that, you know, that's too hard for me. I don't have that much discipline. Oh wow, those arms look huge. It feels like the arms are too long. I think the forearms are too long. I want to make them shorter. Okay. Oh no, I need to move both sides. The horror. How could I do this? So I can move them up, but I can't move them together. Like into the middle. That's the problem here. So how do I move them into the middle? I could scale them, but that kind of changes the proportions. How do I want to do that? Wait, no. I guess I just... That's the only sort of problem with linked objects. Although it's not too problematic, because I probably need to... No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, it's not that problematic, because we're going to change the pose afterwards anyways. It's not really important that everything is perfectly symmetrical, as long as everything is linked. Because the main thing why we do this is because we can work on one side and then it gets copied to the other. And if it's not symmetrical, that doesn't really matter, because the sculpt mode doesn't sculpt on both sides at the same time. Only really the linked sort of mechanic kind of applies it to the other side too. I was always worried, like, oh, if it's asymmetrical, it's going to sculpt something weird on one side, on the side that you don't sculpt, because it looks different on that side. So, for example, if you have like an asymmetrical, the way symmetry in sculpting works is that it looks at the coordinate where you're applying the brush. So if you have an object that is like, if you have like two hands in the same object, and you sculpt right here, and the other hand looks like this, and you push the fingers up right here, and the x-axis is in the middle, it would basically say, okay, here's 1, 1, let's say. This point is 1, 1, and you push it up by 1, I don't know, by 1, okay? What it would then do is it would go to the same spot and see, oh, here's 1, 1, and it would push this piece up. Problem is, of course, the fingers look different, so, you know, it pushes them upwards. But if you relay this one to this one, you would have to push it sideways. But of course, because these pieces are not connected, and they only really share geometry information, it doesn't really matter, because the sculpting on this object doesn't affect this one in sculpt mode itself. So we can actually be a little bit more, I guess, what do you call it? Cordialant? A little bit more relaxed. I just have PTSD from sculpting on asymmetric pieces. Okay, this looks pretty fit already. I like it. I think the wrists look kind of weird. One thing you always have, or one thing that Street Fighter does, is that they increase the hand and feet size. So the feet look way, way, way bigger than they would do in real life. Here's one example. Hold on. Can you see it in this one? I think you can see it here. Here, look at this. Look at the hand size. The hand is almost bigger than the head. She could like, look how big my hand is. I could put it on my chin and then up to my hairline. But if she would do that, she would probably go like up to here somewhere. So it would be like 1.5 of my hands. And then if you look at the feet, it's the same basically. They I think for all their characters they increase the hand and feet size just because it reads better that way. That's oftentimes what games do. Also games like MOBAs do that very often. They have this very, very clear top-down view that is sort of angled in a certain way. And they need to sort of change the animations or the models in a way where that word reads better in that view. So they oftentimes, if you look from a different angle, looks kind of tilted, for example, or skewed or distorted. But in the view that you see it in-game, it looks perfectly fine. Stuff like that is, you know, important when you try to copy, for example, game characters. Kind of keeping in mind that there's like a certain style that they probably wanted to enforce. I kind of want to change, I want to exchange the head. I actually at least want to kind of sculpt a very, very basic head shape. But with a sphere, that is kind of hard. So I'm going to exchange this with a cube. There you go. Do you have any New Year's resolutions, Zachary? Is that why you're asking? Because you want to tell us about yours? I actually asked in the Discord if anybody has any regarding at least 3D or sculpting or Blender or whatever. I have a few, you know. We talked about that last week. Wait, last week was the first week of this year, right? How I want to, I guess, get better at creating realistic human faces mainly, but also overall human characters, getting better at anatomy and I guess understanding the forms of the human body, I guess. They have very, very, very subtle sort of details that I want to learn more about and get better at, because they can really, really add a lot of character to someone. You don't really necessarily see them if you just look at them, but your eye sort of still recognizes them. And there's a certain difference that is hard to explain when you look at one sculpt to the other, comparing that to another. Like, for example, the eyes. And you use resolutions to avoid all the scam pop-ups on Discord. Which ones do you mean? In Discord? Are there scam pop-ups? I've never heard of them. I have some people that messaged me and said like, hey... No, actually, I think I had one that said, hey, my friend in this Discord had some problems. Can you help out? And then they sent some sort of link. Oh, symmetry, please. Okay. Let's add the head. Looks kind of alien right now. We need more structure. once again, okay? If you haven't heard it before, next week, on Monday probably, very likely, we're gonna do the next follow along sculpting session where we sculpt a female character. And this week we've sculpted Ryu. Next week we're gonna sculpt a female character, very new character. Maybe some people have heard of it, have heard of her. I'm not gonna say who it is. You're gonna know about her when we get there. But yeah, there was one person that asked if you could do like a video, for example, for how to sculpt female characters, I guess, or female faces. And if you've been wondering the same, then that might be the perfect video. Of course, if you can't join live, you can also watch it afterwards as a video, probably the week after. Okay, the head looks pretty good. I like it. Train my eye to identify solutions. Improve my skills as an artist. Okay. I actually I found my old high school book. So at the end, when I graduated high school, we got this this book where everybody could write a small sort of I guess farewell, or sort of something about somebody. So you could say, so you could go to your friends, for example, and then you could leave a small comment, and then you would get this book at the end of the, I guess at the end of the graduation, where everybody would be, of course, everybody would be in that book, everybody from that year. And you could write something about yourself. You would, of course, post or you could upload a photo of you, and then also when you were younger. And then you could, you would see all the comments. And I was actually surprised how many people, I actually first thought that I wouldn't have that many, because I usually didn't, you know, I didn't really do much with most people in my class. I kind of always felt like other people were more connected. I didn't really want it to, so it wasn't really that I, wasn't, I was just kind of, I guess, normal, you could say. Not one of the popular kids, but I also don't really want it to be, or at least now I'm kind of wouldn't want to be. But I was kind of surprised how many people actually wrote into my section or commented on me, I guess. Like something like, oh, I don't know, something like very creative, which is understandable, but more like something like artists, oh yeah, I was actually voted the I think there was, hold on, let me look it up. Here it is. It's a whole book. Let's see if I can find it. It was somewhere in the back. You could kind of vote for certain titles, I guess. And I actually won one of them. Let me see if I can find it. Then we have some quotes from some I guess some students and some teachers. Here's some statistics. What is it? Let's see. Will to survive. Oh, you could kind of say like, oh wait, what is it? Oh, you could choose different answers and then you would see the statistics here. How many, what is it? Oh, what would I be next? Okay, here, let's look at this one. What would I be in my next, or what would I be in my next life? Male or female? Wait, oh, no. It was separated into male or female. So, of course, male students and female students. For males, it would be number 1, professional killer. For some reason. So, the options are professional killer, cat, teacher, president, priest, and princess. For males, the first 3 are professional killer or hitman, I guess. Then we have cat, and the third one is teacher. No, it's president. And then for female, we have... Oh, we have a split in 3. Hold on, let me show it to you. Here, look at it. Perfectly split into 3. Here it is. Number 1 is cat. Number 3 is princess. Number 4 is hitman. Okay, let's look at the quotes. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, some polls. That was it. Oh, there it is. Look at it. Well, I don't want to show you the names, but we have stuff like, I guess, graduated thanks to their phone, for example, like, because they always, they always cheated, or what do we have? What else do we have here? Well, the one that I wanted to talk about was the one that is called Picasso. And I actually won that section. So I'm proud of that. I think I was sort of the only one that really at least openly drew in class, for example. So I guess that makes sense. I always had my little sketchbook, at least since grade 10. And I always sketched in class because, well, it was boring. Everything was boring in school, so what else would you do? And I still have that. I have all the stuff that I drew. I talked about that yesterday. So we're gonna look at that at some point too. I don't know when, but we're gonna do that at some point. I don't want to look at it myself, because I kind of want to capture my reaction, I guess, or share my reaction. Let's say. What did I do? Oh, wait. Did I press Control S? Okay. Oh, I wanted to save it, I guess. Yeah, let's save it. There you go. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, so it's actually interesting. So the reason why I actually started drawing was because my old friend in high school said, I think the idea was I said to him at some point, hey, I want to, kind of ironic, I guess, I want to do YouTube videos, and and he kind of said like, okay, I need some, or he wanted to have some sort of graphics, I guess, some I thought about creating a mascot for the channel, and he said like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Or he said something like, oh, don't you want to create a mascot? Or I said like, hey, it would be cool if we have like a mascot, or ourselves sort of drawn, basically, for example. And he said like, okay, well, that sounds pretty cool. You seem, or something like, hey, you can draw. Why don't you do it? That kind of brought me to the idea that drawing is actually pretty cool. And then I did it more and more and more. I actually did one commission in my life. That was for a friend that asked if I could turn one of his, his favorite Pokemon into a screensaver for him. So I guess traced it, or sort of redrew it and gave it to him. That's the only commission that I ever did. I think he still had it in like grade 11 or 12, so like 1 or 2 years later. So I think if I think about it, I actually did drawing longer than I've been working on Blender. Unfortunately, I never really wrote down the dates. I don't think I have any dates in my sketchbook. Otherwise, I could kind of see when I started. But I think so. I think I did drawing actually for quite a while. I think I started in 10th grade, all the way up to at least when I started my apprenticeship. That would be 3 years, but I think I did it afterwards to a little bit more. At some point I stopped. I think when I was like halfway through my first year of my apprenticeship, I stopped. Then at some point I discovered Blender. And the rest is history. Drawing is actually what kind of gave me like a small boost when I started 3D. At least for characters, because I already sort of knew the proportions for the face, for example, or for the body. So it was easier for me to transition over. And for example, interpret faces. Because I did it in 2D already, so I could do it in 3D too. But I only had like a different medium that I had to translate it to, I guess. So it was more about learning the tools rather than, I guess, learning the anatomy. Okay, I think I want to work on the leg or the bottom portion a little bit more, and then I think we can go into posing. The way I pose this is fairly simple. I'm going to show you how I do it when we get there, okay? No spoiling. Wait. What did I wanted to pull up a different reference. So you can see how big her legs actually are if you look at this one. Look at the size of those things. So we definitely need some more. We definitely need some more here. Actually, it's getting close, but we can still do some more. I don't want to maybe not get exactly to that amount because, well, her legs are a little bit, I guess, exaggerated. But still, we can do more. Oh, hello. Why don't you work here? That's interesting. I can't sculpt there. Why? Okay. Weird. Yeah, okay. There it works, I guess. I kind of want to raise this. The one thing that we also learned yesterday was that the shoulder width for females, on average, is as wide as the hip width. And what gives the hips more size are the muscles and the fat. And for males, it's 1 to 1.8. Which was pretty interesting to me. I think I want to raise the bones here a little bit more. hip muscle. That's better. Oh, we haven't really touched the fingers yet. The dreaded hand. Okay, I want to work on the if only I knew what they're called. You know, it's gonna come to me at some point. Yeah, I just need to think about it. Gonna work on the, let's call it lower legs, okay? And then we can go to the fingers, to the hand. The calves, exactly. I looked it up yesterday, but I already forgot. Unbelievable. There you go. Perfect. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's go to the fingers. Fingers need some more love. They look kind of weird right now. Exactly, I'm just testing you, you know? I'm not speaking about all this for you to just not, you know, keep everything. I mean, keep anything in mind or learn anything. Sometimes I'm just, you know, pretending that I don't know so that you know, that I can test you whether or not you know it. That's exactly what it is. But now that somebody found out my plans, I can, I guess, address it. Same for the hands, you know, the finger length. I just wanted to show again that the fingers have a length of 0.6 from the previous finger. Exactly. You already knew that it's a test question, right? You only wanted to know the answer to know if you're right. Okay. Hands are always my weakness. I think I need to do more, you know, practice on those two. They always look kind of weird. I know what the muscles, where they lie, but it's still kind of weird to me. Especially placing the thumb. The thumb is my biggest problem. You cheated? What do you mean? You mean you cheated the test? I'll let you pass this time, okay? Only once though. Next time I'm gonna have a pointed eye on you, whether you get it or not. Okay, maybe thumbs are just destined to look weird, okay? I think that's it. I don't think I'm wrong. I think it's life. I think life just made thumbs weird. I just need to accept that they're weird. Because this is not getting better. This is not getting better. Well, maybe a little bit, but not by a great margin. I feel like drawing feels harder for me maybe. When it comes to bodies. Just because you not only have to know what the correct shape looks like. Well, you have to sort of, in your mind, think of what the feet are supposed to look like in a certain angle. Which sounds to me quite a lot harder than if you would do it in 3D, because 3D sort of solves that perspective problem for you. But I guess that's also kind of subjective. So I feel like 2D is easier, no, harder. Because every perspective is different. More like dumbs. I think we need to do a hand study session at some point. The same thing that we did on eyes last week, we need to do for hands too. Maybe at some point I'll, you know, there's another seal that I can crack in my brain. Maybe that's just how it is. You know, maybe we just need to do a week of hand studying, and then maybe I'll get it. Or maybe it's just a seal that I can never break. Hands will always look horrible for me. I've already sculpted good hands, but I seemingly forgot how to do it. And that was 2 years ago. No, 1 year? 2 year? 2 years ago. So I know the skill exists in my brain. I just need to unlock it. Okay, it's like a video game. I need to do more side quests to get better, get more skill points, so I can beat the main story quest. What as everybody knows, side quests are boring. So nobody wants to do them. That's the biggest problem with them. I think I was never really somebody in games that liked to do the side quests. Only when I was younger and I had nothing else to do. Or when they give me cool stuff. If I play a game and the side quest, the first few side quests give me garbage, then you for sure can expect me to not play any more side quests ever. Because why would I expect more from these if, you know, the first ones were already garbage? You know, if you set a standard, then I will expect that standard everywhere. And if you make garbage side quests, then I expect all of them to be garbage. Because usually, you know, there's a reason why intros exist. Because they're supposed to introduce you into whatever it is that they're supposed to introduce you to. And if the first side quest, they're supposed to introduce you into what it's like to do side quests, and the side quests are garbage, well, good luck. I'm not playing anymore. Not if you're playing The Witcher. I've never played The Witcher, so I don't know what if the side quests are good there. I heard they're pretty good. At least they have, like, you know, they're rich in story, the side quests, so they actually have like interesting characters and interesting stories that you can do, rather than just like, hey, you know what? I forgot my wig on the other side of the map. Might you know, could you get it for me? And then, you know, you just you know, just you go there, you get it, and you run back, hey, thank you, and then you're done. Like, great. I'm not even getting the wig at the end. Great. Why do I even do this? Why did I deserve this pain? Humans are pain avoidant. If they receive pain, they will try to avoid it as much as possible. So if you give them pain once, you hit them once, they're not gonna do the same thing again. If you ever have the time, play it. Yeah, usually I don't have the time. Single player games are always... I liked single player games in the past. Although the only single player game that I really played in the past was Minecraft. Yeah, I really like multiplayer games more than single player games. Because they're basically single player games, but with more people. But I don't know, you know, even just adding, you know, multiplayer to a game can really, or co-op even, can really multiply the fun and content you can have with a game. So I usually tend to not play single player games, even though they might be super good. Or I might binge through them, you know? That's the other alternative. I would play them like in one go and then that's it. But I think the last game that I actually binged through was what is that game called again? Where you make all the decisions and Life is Strange, the first part. That's a really, really good game. If anybody wants to play a really, really good game, play Life is Strange, the first one. I don't know about the other ones. I bought the first DLC, I think, or the first continuation, like part 2, but I've never played it. Among Us. I mean, that's a multiplayer game, so I guess I played it once. I never watched it on YouTube. I only played it once. You know, it's basically like a party game. Which is, yeah, it's simple, but it's, you know, good. What setup are you using? Sitting or standing? Well, currently, I'm standing. And, hold on, can you see this? That's my knee. Yeah, I'm standing right now. And I usually, after the quick sketch, switch to standing. And then after maybe like an hour or so, I switch back to sitting. Or when I feel like it. Crab game, I never played it, but it looks really cool. It looks really fun if you have a good group. I don't know if does multiplayer exist except for multiplayer. I mean, does online multiplayer exist or only local multiplayer? Crab game is like a accidentally really great game. It's one of those that looks super trash, but it's just super fun for some reason. Because it nails the sort of core elements that you need for a good game. Especially if it's multiplayer, like being able to sabotage someone. Then voice chat is also very useful, especially if you play them online rather than like on Discord. And yeah, then overall just, you know, the game isn't like laggy or it's super buggy. It works very well. It's just you know, it's just a good game, I guess. At least it seems that way. I've never played it. When people scream into the mic, yeah. You feel the pain of others, and you feel empowered. I feel like there's another game that is like that. Not Among Us, but something else, where just like, oh, I think Flappy Bird. You know, Flappy Bird was such a huge hit, even though it's basically just, you know, tap to let the bird jump a little bit higher so you can reach the next gate or the next tubes. Such a ultra basic and like trash game in terms of its I guess not design, but like I guess you could say design, you know? It's so simple, but it's so effective, let's say. Your back thanks you for that? Yeah. That's why I did it. I always was sort of conscious about how my back sort of felt after sitting for a long time. So I wanted to get a yeah, standing desk. And it helps a lot. Maybe it's more mental than physical, but I think it's also physical. Physical, is that a word? I think so. Sounds weird. Yeah, it's simple, but it works. It gets the right. It has the right formula, let's say. I'm not getting old. I'm just watching. I mean, looking out for my old self. Okay. What you do now is what you will regret later. Or not regret, I guess. There are always 3 people in my brain. The person that I was yesterday, the person that I was, or that I am right now, and the person that I will be in the future. And all 3 of them are important. From one of them you can make decisions, or they can inform decisions. The other one does the decisions, and the other one, or makes decisions. The other one is affected by those decisions. Okay, I don't think the hands are getting better. Do they look good though? They look weird. Maybe that's just the pose. Usually hands look very weird if you have them like this, because that's a very unnatural pose, you know? Oh, look at my hand. It looks very natural, right? Yeah. So, I think the palm is too long. I pulled it too far forward. You know what I would love? If you could sculpt on multiple objects at the same time. So I could select multiple objects and I could sculpt on all of them at the same time, because it works in edit mode. You can, in edit mode, you can select this one, you can select this one, select this one, and then if you go in edit mode, you can see all 3 of them. But if you do that in sculpting, you only sculpt on what is, you know, these 2 are just selected, you can't change them, but this one you can change. I wish you could do the same in sculpt mode. That would be cool. But no, sculpting is always the one that is bad. Sculpting is always getting left behind. Wait, what else can you link actually? Can you link the position in object mode? Objects to scene? What does that mean? Mesh data? Transfer mesh data. What does that mean? Does that mean that I can... Let's see. What if I transfer the mesh data? Does the finger move? Oh, nothing happens. Sick. Oh. Face data? No. Okay, I guess that doesn't do what I thought it does. Today's victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. What does lesser men mean? Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. That's interesting. I don't really understand the second one. The second part. I guess people that don't do that do the first part. Hopefully they fix the sculpting. Or improve it. Yeah. I feel like sculpting is such a specific thing that requires very specific things that they don't want to focus on that. I think maybe sculpting works a little bit against what they want to do with Blender, which is why they don't improve it too much. They can add a lot of new tools, but if those tools don't really help with the overall I know what it is, with the overall sort of well, they can give you new tools, but they cannot, well, they don't seem to want to give you faster tools. They only want to give you something new to play. They don't want to fix your old bike that you used to get to school. They only really give you like, hey, you know what? Don't you like, you know, when you're when your bike sounds like a motorcycle, here, look at here I have this card. You can put that into your what is it, like wheel, whatever these small things are called. You can put it into your tire, and then it'll sound like a motor. Isn't that great? And then everybody's like, hey, that sounds great. And then, you know, you at some point you realize, well, but my tire is still flat. Didn't really help me with that. You know, and you're sitting there and still need to kind of suffer driving with an old flat tire. That's sort of what sculpting feels like. There are always changes that sort of do something okay for sculpting, but they don't really fix the main problem. And that is that it lags a lot. The only thing that I want in sculpting is to increase the performance. That's the only thing that I want. Everything else is that I don't care about. I don't care about how long rendering takes. I don't care about how long I don't know, weight painting takes. I guess a little bit, but still. I don't care how long exporting takes. The only thing I care about is how long it takes to move a vertex from point A to point B. And how many I can affect at the same time. And that number seems to be quite low right now. Okay, I think we reached a point that is ready to be posed. I think we reached that point. Let me go through everything once more, and then I think we can go over to the pose. Oh, I want to do one more thing. That's why it's good to start with Blender when it comes to sculpting, and then at some point switch to ZBrush. Because ZBrush allows you to basically add as much detail as you want without bogging down your speed, you know? You can just add more and more and more. I guess at some point it gets laggy, but still, you know, you can add more and more and more without really changing the speed and the fluidity. And I think that's what most people complain about in Blender, sort of like, hey, you know, if I add too much detail, everything lags. That is sort of always what comes up. Which I think is also why there aren't a lot of people. Well, no, I don't want to say that. No. That's not right. Posing time, yeah. Soon. Give me a sec. Let me show you something that I have found as an image that is supposed to be, that I want to have as my goal at the end of this year, okay? It's a little bit, I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. I can't remember what it was called. Let me look it up. So it's I always find some images, same with the arcane, realistic arcane characters that I've shown last week, where I want to get to. I have one for bodies, and let's see if I can find it. Oh, that was on, well, hold on. I don't think I can find it. Oh, I can find it, hold on. It'll take a while. So, you know, you need to wait a little bit longer for for the... Did I delete it? I did. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see. I'm treading in dangerous waters right now, but let's see. Hopefully I can tread. I'll tread lightly, okay? Come on, where are you? There it is. Okay, hold on, I'm almost there. Yeah, I found a an image. I always find these images that I sort of see and sort of think about, or I think to myself, like, oh, I wanna get there, you know? And that was one of them. And it's very, very simple, but it's sort of, it's very fine. That sounds weird. The problem with realism is always that the further you go into it, the more realistic you want to make something, the more you need to look at the details and the more time you need to spend. I always like to compare it to like an exponential curve where, oh, there it is. The more you go into it, the longer it takes. So you think to yourself, oh, I wanted to make this more realistic, then you make it more realistic, but then you see, oh, there's something smaller that I want to make more realistic, and then you make that more realistic, and the smaller it gets, the more time it takes. So at some point, you know, you spend so much time on something that nobody will notice, that it, you know, but still, you know, you kind of still want to do it. Here it is. It's a little bit... it's not NSFW, but it's hold on, there you go. Hold on, let me actually okay. I read the YouTube terms of service, okay? I know what I can show and what I can't. So here we go. There you go. Close everything that is lava. There you go. I'm gonna... There you go. Look at this. So this is the... this is basically my goal when it comes to anatomy and the subtleties of the body that are very hard to capture in my opinion. Maybe I just haven't spent too much time on them, or I haven't spent a lot of time on them right now or recently, that are very hard to capture and really hard to sort of compose in a very smooth and very, like, they look, you can't see it right now, I'm going to show you to you in a second. They it's smooth but also very defined, and that is sort of very hard, at least for me right now, to do. Let me show it to you. There you go. Da-da-da. See how, like, the definition of the muscles here, how they are very specific, but they're also very smooth, so it looks soft, but it also looks very defined. If you look at bodybuilders, here's something more... I actually have another image, I guess, hold on, that I use for reference, which is this one here. So there's the difference between very, very, very lean, like this, where everything is sort of cut, you know, everything's very, very, I guess, very defined. But if you look at her, for example, it's a little bit different. It's sort of it's smoothed in certain areas and then sharp in other areas, which makes it look very, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I need to do more studies, which makes this so hard for me. You know, it's hard to really sort of, I don't know. I need to do more studies, okay? That's what I'm saying. Look at him. Look at him. Look at the definition. I think that is somewhat easier than doing something half defined like this. Because you sort of have to do this and then add a certain layer of smoothness to it where you still keep the somewhat of the definition, but also add a certain softness to it, which it's like adding blurriness to an image, but not making it too blurry so that you can't see anything anymore. That is sort of the problem, or the difficulty, okay? Yeah, okay. Back to the subject. Hold on, somebody just followed. It's defined but not sharp. Yeah. It's, I like to call it, or I think a good word is it's specific. I don't know if that actually fits or not, but it sounds good. You know, it shows what it's supposed to, and it doesn't show what it doesn't need to. Thank you, Snowy121, for following on Twitch. I appreciate it. If you're here, hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you had a great day. It's not that snowy here. It's quite warm, actually. As you see, I'm wearing a t-shirt. But it's probably gonna get snowy at some point this year for me. Probably somewhere in March again, just like last year. Last year, I think we had to snow in March or April. So we're probably gonna get the same this year. Which is gonna be interesting. It actually snowed heavily last year, more than all the other years prior, which was pretty crazy. Okay, I think we kind of reached an end. Let's go to the pose. Okay, so the pose is not this. It's very similar. Let me show you the pose, if I can find it. There it is. It's a little bit more tilted. Or at least one leg is more tilted. Come on, where are you? I need you. There it is. This one. So the leg is sort of rotated to the side, and she's looking over it. I love some snow, but here in Germany, it snows maybe like one day and that's it. Well, I'm also from Germany, so we share the same experience. Although maybe you, I don't know, live somewhere further away from me. I live in the north region, so I, you know, maybe it's I think it's snowing more in the lower region of Germany than it does in the western region. It snows more than in the northern region. Oh, you actually have you actually have a fitting color for your name. Hold on. Now this is gonna look weird, okay? So the names in my chat here have different colors. You can't see them in the overlay, unfortunately, but you can see them here. Look at them. They're like whitish green, which sort of fit to snow, I guess. Hessen. Oh no, if only I knew where that is. I think it's somewhere in the middle, right? I'm not that good at geography. Okay, let's add symmetry. I mean asymmetry, and create the pose. We can still change everything later. All I wanted to do here is basically sort of lay out the basic proportions. So now we can go into the next step. So how do I do this? I like to use, when I pose base meshes like this, let me actually create a new file so I have this as a backup. I use the 3D cursor a lot. The 3D cursor is a great tool to pose characters because you can place it anywhere with shift right click like this. And then if you want to, for example, move the the arm, you say, okay, I want to pose it, I want to move it upwards. So from this to this. How can you do this? Well, you place your 3D cursor where the limb would be, or where the ankle would be, or the shoulder joint, and then you just rotate it on the 3D cursor. You set it to pivot point 3D cursor, and then you can rotate it like that. That's how I usually pose my base meshes, because it's quick, you know, and it's pretty simple. You could also move the pivot points somewhere over here, but it always feels like that takes too much time to be useful. So I just use the, you know, this thing, whatever that, the 3D cursor. Okay, so let's create the base pose. First thing first, roll body. She's rotated slightly, hold on. See how she's rotated, so we need to move everything to the side. That should be good, maybe more. Like that, okay. And then we need to move the leg back. The whole leg. There isn't really a joint that lets you can't really rotate your calves without rotating your thigh too. So you need to move everything at once. This one might be a little bit harder because we kind of have to choose a weird angle here. Good thing is the 3D cursor doesn't really care about the angle necessarily. You can still rotate it, see? Welcome, Johnny. Hope you enjoyed your Wednesday, your Thursday. Coming along nicely. Thank you. Now we're getting to the interesting part. So you came in the exact right time. And this is where the link will be, where we need to, I guess, cut the link. Because now you can see this muscle here on the side needs to still be attached to the hip. But because we rotated it this way, this muscle also rotated sort of forward, which, like, hold on, it's kind of like you have to think about the attachments of the muscles. The muscles are basically just like ropes that are connected with two bones, of course. And if you rotate your I don't know, your biceps, for example, is attached to the forearm here, you know, somewhere over here, inside here. Hold on, it's hard to show. In here somewhere. Hold on. In here somewhere, into the arm, and then on the clavicle right here, on the collarbone. So if you look at it, it goes from here all the way over here, underneath the shoulder, and then to the bone here. But if you rotate your arm like this, backwards or forwards, the attachment rotates here, but the attachment up here stays the same. And that's the same problem that we have here. So the shape of the muscle basically changes because it needs to twist. And that twisting we have is the same that we have here. The muscle down here stays, or it moves with the movement of the leg down here, but the one up here needs to stay underneath the butt. And that's where we need to change we need to remove the link, because the link would mean that if we move this back to here where it needs to be, the other one would change too, but the other one doesn't need that change. Yeah, basically. But we're not there yet, okay? We need to do more first. Let's do the rest first. That's just something we need to keep in mind. And you need to keep in mind when you want to do figurines like these. We actually need to rotate this leg even more, but we can do that later. You could also, if you wanted to, you could create an armature for this and basically create a bone for every piece that you have in this base mesh. That would work too. So if you want to create a base mesh, that you can do that too. You just have to kind of I guess, set it up in a very specific way. So I think what I want to do for this here is she's not, because the leg here is sort of, or not here, there is, oh, hold on. There you go. Because that leg here is not getting shorter because she's rotating her hip sideways. See her hip is sideways, which is why this leg is higher than the other one. Which means that this part of the hip stays in on the same height. The other one raises. What I wanted to do here right now is I wanted to rotate it like this, which would mean that the left side would you know, lower itself, but it would rather be something like this, where the left side stays in the same place, and the right side raises, as you can see here. That's another thing that's important to keep in mind, where the pressure is applied and where you can sort of move. Welcome back, Hustler. How are you doing? Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Hope you've been doing a lot of sales. Do you get any bonuses if you sell a lot, or is that not really something, I guess, I don't know, you get bonuses for? I've never worked in a retail or in a store, for example, so I don't really know. Maybe. Sounds like something that would maybe make sense. If we sell extra warranty or assurance, then something like, okay, something you kind of want, nobody wants, but you can convince someone to buy, basically. Like warranties, like, oh, don't you think that this pen might break in the next 2 years? Don't you want to get, warranty for it? Well, it only cost me €2 or $2 or whatever. Yeah, but what if it breaks, I guess so. Is this pen not worth a lot for you? Welcome, M6. Welcome. I first thought that it would be like a word play between the word M and then 6, sort of, how you can say M8 and then it's mate, but then it's not. So you tricked me twice. I tricked myself, I guess. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday too. As you can see, we have a perfect pose right now, perfectly in balance. Some warranties are really worth it. They get replaced in the store or you get your money back. Which ones would you say are worth it? Usually for like tech, or more for like I guess, I don't know what you sell, of course, but yeah, what do you think is one item that where warranty makes sense? Graphic tablet. It broke after 1 year, so I got a full refund of money. Bought a new one. Yeah, I guess that's always like the gamble, Similar to if you want to automate something, where we talked about yesterday. If you want to automate something, you always have to gamble whether or not the time that you spend on automating it is worth it, or if it is likely that the time that you spend automating it will save you time. And if it doesn't, you wasted a whole lot of time and you need more time than you needed originally when you wouldn't have automated it. So, it's similar to warranties. You kind of gamble with your time, I guess, or your money rather. Yeah, fridge, coffee machine. Yeah. Yeah, I think stuff that is that you use for a long time, there it makes sense. But stuff like, I don't know, like you can have like phone screen. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm fairly lucky when it comes to breaking stuff. Usually when I buy stuff, it, you know, doesn't break very quickly. So I never really needed a warranty. Or stuff like delivery warranties, same stuff. But it doesn't arrive broken. Phones, laptops, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's, I usually gamble and don't spend the extra money. Because in my experience, I don't really need it. You know, the whole concept is like with the warranties, you're supposed to save money because at some point, you need to pay more money than you would have paid for the warranty. But so far that hasn't really been the case for me. So I'm sort of, I guess, I never really get any of those warranties. Have you sold any warranties recently? Any, you know, have you tricked any elderly people into warranties that they don't need because they bought their first smartphone, and now you trick them into a 2-year warranty where where they sell like $10 or €10 per per month, so that they can let you know that they have like a free repair for their phone if the screen breaks, but they never really use the phone. Have you scammed some elderly is what I'm asking? Are you one of those? You know, I could never, but maybe you know? Who knows? I wonder if you're a salesperson or you work in a store and you get these types of bonuses, if you get more and more ruthless. You know, you kind of scam more and more people as time goes by. You know, in the beginning you're sort of virtuous and you always think like, oh no, I'm not going to scam people, you know, I'm just going to try to trick people into some weird contracts. But then at some point you just kind of think to yourself like, screw it. I guess I'll just take the extra money. Yeah, I guess, yeah, for children, yeah, I think there are certain cases where it makes sense, like children, for example, but I think there are also very clear cases where it doesn't make sense. I don't scam people. I usually explain to them that all items have a 2-year warranty, and then if they want to, they can extend it by 2 more years. It doesn't always work, but my consciousness is clear. Well, It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time until you reach into the void. The void calls to you every day. Right now you can still, you can still fight it off. But at some point, it's gonna get to you. You see the money that you could have had at Christmas to buy yourself a new graphics tablet or the new subscription for ZBrush. And you think to yourself, if only I would have scanned one more person. And then your mind shifts very, very quickly. I'm not speaking of experience, of course, you know. I've never worked on those, you know, in those jobs. The only kind of scummy. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the first admission. There it is. The only kind of scummy stuff I do is check if we have a lower price on the item if you buy it online, and I use that discount to give them the extra warranty for the same price as the store. Wait. Wait. I use that discount to give them the extra warranty for the same price as in the store. You mean in the online store? So you basically scam your your boss, basically. I mean, I guess that's better than scamming people, maybe. Depends on who you ask. If an item is 100 in the store and 90 online, oh, that's too much math. I'm sorry. You know, I had math as a main topic in school, in high school, but sorry, I think that was enough. No more math for me. I had the extra warranty in the store for 10. Oh, the price being the same. Ah, okay, so you scam your boss, basically. I guess that's more virtuous than I expected, but it's still scamming. The store I work on has stores. Well, there, you know this math problem. I guess, hold on. What is that math problem where you have the different shapes that create a triangle at the end, or like a ramp? And if you rearrange the shapes, there's like a small gap. But if you rearrange them in a different way, the gap is gone. Are you speaking of that sort of thing, where, you know, there is a void being created, but the void also somehow doesn't exist? Is that what you're speaking of? Are you telling me that the lost money is not lost because it's not one person you're scamming, but an organization? Our boss gives us a free discount per person per day to use to give... Oh, okay. Okay, that's weird. He has a quota to reach. A quota of sold items? Or a quota of money? Because a quota of money wouldn't make sense with what he does. So I guess a quota of sold items, which is weird. A quote. But why would you have to sell a certain amount? That doesn't make sense if you don't make more money. But I guess, you know, it doesn't always have to make sense. I guess. Quota of services. Oh, so you still make more money because you might give them the warranty for a lesser price, but because they have that warranty for like they pay for it monthly, you still get more money basically. So after the second month, it would be worth it, basically. Pose is looking good. It's coming together. It's not there yet, but it's getting closer. That's the benefit of having a base mesh. You can always just kind of change it until you're fine with it. I could also just go into sculpting, but that would, you know. I could also just start sculpting. I guess the ultra pros can do that, but I don't. I still need to get better at sculpting bodies, let's say, or getting better at anatomy. I guess you could say that's one of my goals for the end of this year. Maybe, you know. I saw someone that did a sort of, I guess, what do you call it? Like a... They sculpted, and while they sculpted, they sort of did an... Not over talk. What is it called again? A narration, I guess. Not of their process, but I guess sort of their process. Where they showed how they sculpted an asymmetric character from scratch. I think they sculpted Venom, or not Crimson. What is the other one called? Not Venom, but the red villain. They sculpted that guy from scratch in an asymmetric pose, of course, with perfect anatomy. Carnage, there it is. Yeah. Oh, Loki's answering Carnage. Oh, I see. A Marvel character answering for another Marvel character. Welcome, Loki. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Yeah, because the services are actually profitable. The profitable part, the store sells items at a pretty low price, so they mostly take profit from selling a lot of items fast. Yeah. That's why you oftentimes have stuff like you have 1 year services that you get for free for the first 3 months, because the service is still profitable, because over the year you still make money basically. And then of course you have the added benefit of possibly the customer forgetting that they sold the service, and then you get more and more money every month without them actually using the service, which doesn't really change. Yeah, basically. I don't really know what this arm does. I can't see it that well. I think it's somewhere in the front. I think she's holding it like out like this to hold her balance, because right now everything is sort of focused right here in the front. If you look at the floor, somewhere over here. So I think we need a counterbalance on this side. So she would probably move her arm somewhere over here. Oh, hold on. That's a little bit high. Also, posing a character, having perfectly straight arms is usually not the way to go, because you don't necessarily do that oftentimes. Well, you probably almost never do that. There's always a certain angle in your arms. I wonder if that's a natural sort of reflex to not stretch your arms out like this, because it basically, I think your arms are more vulnerable this way. They may be prone to break easier. That's maybe why you don't do it. I wonder if that's the case. Or if that's just normal, I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidence. So something like that, maybe. That would probably make more sense. Maybe more out. See how there's, see if you look from the top, how there's all that weight on this side. This arm is moving, is pulling to the side with its weight. Well, we need to move it still, but still. It would still be somewhere over here. This leg is somewhere on this side. And this leg is standing right there. Wait, is it? Yeah. So this one is sort of the counter weight to this arm, for example. Isn't there a new movie that just came out, or that is coming out? Carnage? I think it already came out, right? Carnage movie. I think it actually came out last year. Carnage movie 2011. Ah. Oh, there it is. Let There Be Carnage. 2nd of August. Oh, that's loud. October 1st. Well, that's been out for quite a while. When the, what is it called? The Marvel's The Avengers against Thanos, not Endgame, but the last one came out, I dug a little bit deeper into the comics and sort of to kind of learn about the characters and how powerful they are in the comics, at least. Of course, they're a little bit less powerful in the movies. But there were some interesting stories about Carnage. I think Carnage is sort of ultra powerful. It seems like all heroes are sort of ultra powerful in the comics. Which sort of it always seems like in the comics every villain and every hero gets sort of described, it has the description of like they could destroy the entire universe if they wanted to, but they never do, you know. And then, you know, everything sort of seems very very sort of weird, because, you know, everybody could kill everything, but nobody does. And an interesting story that I found, or that I heard of, was that Deadpool actually at some point sort of inhabited Carnage, so he was basically like Carnage Deadpool. I think I remember that correctly. Carnage Deadpool, so he was even stronger than he is by himself, I guess. Deadpool versus Carnage. At some point, I think he's sort of... Oh, maybe he's merging with Venom. I can't remember which one. But then he becomes even more powerful, and then I think he gets bored or something, and then he lets him... He gets rid of Carnage again. I can't remember. But there were some interesting stories that I heard about. Super anticlimactic because I know no story. I just talked about these awesome stories, but then I can't recount any of them. The thumb looks weird again. Thumb always looks weird. No, that looks weird. I think the thumb is too long right now. Let's work with that. Hulk Carnage. Well, that's another one of these weird things. So in the comics, I think Hulk gets described as that he's like undestroyable, or he's unkillable, and the angrier he gets, the more powerful he gets. So there's no he cannot go below 1 HP, but his attack points get higher and higher and higher and higher as more, I guess, as you know, more he gets enraged. So at some point, I think he's like called World Destroyer Hulk or something, and he's just running around and destroying everything. So it's like everybody has the capability of destroying the whole universe, but nobody does. And then if somebody dares, then there are the overlords that can just, you know, revert everything back to zero. Yeah, he punched the planet in half. Iron Carnage? Do you mean Iron Man and Carnage together? I wonder if that would make sense. Because Carnage would have to live in Tony Stark's body, maybe? Or I guess he could kind of, you know, move around in his suit. So if you don't know what you want to do, or if you need something to listen to, just open the next best comic, what do you call it, like comic, you know, YouTube channel that covers comics, and they can always come up with cool, interesting stories to talk about. Let's look at, hold on. I'm just gonna go to YouTube and look for crazy, wait, Marvel Comics Crazy Hulk story. Top 10 greatest Hulk stories ever written. Hulk is unbeatable, no, unkillable, and the one below all. Okay? Immortal Hulk storyline part 1. And then you can see Hulk as a zombie, all like half dead in the thumbnail. Too powerful for the Marvel movies. World Breaker Hulk. Hulk is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Created by blah blah blah. Ten more most disgusting comic book deaths. 10 insane alternative versions of the Hulk you won't believe exist. 10 most ridiculous things the Hulk has survived. Insane. Carnage but metal. So if you want to have your, if you want to have a thick thigh lady, then don't tell me how to do it, okay? Do it yourself. Then you can do it at your own pace. Don't tell me how I need to do it or how fast. You're not the one that is gonna have her sit on my desk, okay? You're not the one that's gonna have her sit on my desk, okay? So don't tell me how I have to create this, how long it needs to take me, okay? How long it will take. How long it will take. Somebody messaged me, which was actually pretty cool, and asked me a question. So they talked about how they create full life-size. Well, is that, yeah, life-size? I think that's what they call it. Life-sized figurines of different characters, whether it's video games or anime, and they create them out of paper. So they craft them. they built them out of paper. Not like paper mache. I think they used some sort of folding technique to create the statue. I looked through their, I think, YouTube profile, and they had some videos about them, talking about them. They look pretty cool, actually. They're similar to the ones that you would find in sort of like, at least in my city, we have that. There's like a kids fun park where you see where you see these video game heroes or video game or movie heroes being portrayed as these life-size 3D, not 3D prints, but 3D statues made out of this resin fiber thingy material. Something it's similar to that, but out of paper. And they asked me how they could like how they could create stability in their statues. They look pretty cool. I never heard of that before, like paper statues. Life-sized anime waifus. Do the big thigh lady, or we will. What will? You will do your, you will create your own? Go ahead. Do it. I dare you. 2 weeks later you'll come back to me. Asking for forgiveness for your rude behavior. Have you done more body studies, Hustler, or have you focused on your warranty hustle? Are you hustling those? Are you grinding those warranties, or are you farming XP in the what is it? In the sculpting. I don't know what you would call it. Have you gained levels in your sculpting experience? Here's another one of those problematic cases. How would I rotate them? Write a few more bodies, but really not satisfied. Mostly watching tutorials, trying to understand how the body works. Let me give you a good one. If I could find it. Forearm anatomy. Oh. Anatomy explained. There it is. Sam Webster. The man, the myth, the legend. Look at him. Look at this handsome English man. And he does not only, well, he is from who I learned more about human anatomy. He covers a lot of different parts of the body. I think maybe even all of them. And he has this cool figure that you can take apart. So he starts off with the whole thing, of course, and then he not only explains where they attach the muscles, he takes them out of the, you know, the model. He looks at them, he shows them, it tells you what they do. He tells you where they're connected or where they're attached, you know, the which bones they're attached. Of course, you can see how they affect the volume of the body. And so he goes through all of them. He kind of shows what they do. You could see, you know, okay, you can see here. That's what the muscles are supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes through and he shows where they are. He removes some of the muscles. You can see here, this is the lower, I guess, some layer of the forearm. And through him, I actually understand I now understand the forearm muscles. At least the macro knowledge I do have now. Hello. Yeah. Hand, wrist, bones, muscle, blah, blah, blah. Upper limb. Elbow muscles. Yeah, all of that. I think I binge watched him while I was working. Just, you know, listening to him explain all that stuff. Really, really, really useful. Hold on. I'm gonna drop it in the Discordion. Where should I? There it is. Great channel for body anatomy. There you go. Okay. Okay, I at least want to finish the pose today, okay? So let's see, how do we do this? So the arm needs to rotate, the elbow needs to rotate. Because if the only thing we can do with the forearm right now is we can rotate like with the forearm, what you can do is you can only rotate it in one direction. You cannot rotate it like right now I can rotate it like this, but I can't rotate it like this. So there's a certain angle or joint that prevents that movement. So what we need to do is to be able to rotate it in this direction is we need to rotate the upper arm, and then we can do this. Thanks for sharing the bony English, gentleman. Exactly. Yeah, he's very good. I think I watched it in two times speed, just because it's he explains it pretty, I guess, thoroughly. But I guess that's a good thing. Oh, hello. What are you doing? So we need to rotate the forearm. Which would of course deform or twist the triceps, but of course right now it's very stiff up here, so we can't change it. We need to do that afterwards. Now that this is rotated, maybe not enough, let's see. I guess it makes more sense if we rotate it first. Like this. That good enough? Looks good enough to me. I think the arm is too long. It seems like it is. If we look at this one here, you can see the arm is way shorter. So I guess we need to make it shorter. Although, I think the proportions are different on her. Her upper body seems shorter. I guess we can do that. Let's do that. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. So now we can make the arm shorter. I always have problems with the forearm length. For some reason, they always become longer than they need to be. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they do. I identified the problem, now I need to find a solution. Maybe I just need to give it up. Maybe that's the solution. Sounds like an easy answer. Maybe that's the right one. The easy answer usually is not the right one, but maybe this time it is. Maybe I should just give up living. Maybe that's what I need to do. You know what's interesting to think about, or an interesting question is that I have, or that I think which is pretty common, but there isn't really a good answer for if somebody does not have an answer for it already, which is the question, why live? So if somebody comes to you, like somebody that's depressed, for example, and ask you, hey, why do you do what you do every day? I don't think you can give them an answer that can satisfy the question. Maybe, but I haven't heard it, or I can't think of it anything. Because everything you kind of do, everything you kind of do is because you have some sort of goal, whether it's surviving or whether it's making money. Well, that's sort of part of surviving, I guess. Sort of everything builds upon the fact that you want to survive. And if you don't do, for example, like you don't get money, you don't get food, so you can't eat the food, so you don't survive, or same with water. But if somebody isn't scared of dying or doesn't see the value in living, like, what is the question that you could, what is the answer that you could give them that would, like, convince them of your belief? There's a video that I watched at some point, and I want to rewatch it. It's from Dr. K. Maybe somebody knows him. Alok Kinoja. He's streaming, I guess, mental health, or he's a, what is it, psychiatrist that's streaming on Twitch, talking with people and doing like topics, or talking about topics about mental health. And he talked about it before. I didn't really understand, or I can't remember what he said. Healthy Gamer GG is his channel name. I guess, hold on. I guess, why live? Let's see what comes up. Why do it? Why wake up? Why fight? 10 months ago. That sounds interesting. That sounds what I wanted. Like, yeah, I'm interested if there's like an actual answer to the question. Because if you're not life is meaningless, you're the one giving meaning to it. Yeah, I think that was his answer too. Your purpose is dictated. Yeah, so like he also made a video about the rules of life, sort of jokingly giving rules for life. And one of his rules was life is a sandbox game. There are rules, but you decide what you do with it. So you could shut the game down, or you could, build a castle. It's yours to decide. There's no story, basically. The story is for you to create. I think that was his answer too. But I want to watch it again. Because, if somebody doesn't want to be in that world, I guess, you can't really... Like, but how do you convince somebody that isn't scared of taking their life? How do you convince them that like, how do you give them a reason? I think what he said before was that there's usually a reason in that you don't want to hurt others around you, and that sort of gives you the drive to go further. I think that's what you can tell somebody that is in that mental state, because you know they usually like somebody and they don't want to hurt them, so they, by you know closing the game, they would hurt that person, and they don't want to hurt that person, so they don't end the game, you know. But it's not really something that they want, but it's more something that other people, well, it's something that they want sort of, but not something that they can use as fuel every day. So I wonder how you can give somebody like that actually like something in their life that they can, I guess, work towards. Philosophy. Crazy stuff. A crazy drug. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have a answer really. At least right now. And I don't think, you know, as you said, there isn't really like one specific answer, because you don't well, you create the answer for yourself. So if you want to be a famous painter that paints with your own P, multiple P's behind each other, painter that paints with their own P, I guess you could do that. Or you can become a famous bodybuilder that then at some point resembles Chun-Li, the video game character in Street Fighter, you know? It's yours to decide. Or you scam people into or you scam old people into getting warranties that they don't need, you know? That's all for you to decide. We're almost there. We're almost there. Looks kind of like she's about to kick, but she's like, don't hit me or I'm gonna kick you. Yuan Hirong. Is that the bodybuilder? Hold on. Yeah. I have references of her. Hold on. Let me show them to you. Here you go. Hold on. There it is. See? Reference. This one isn't her, of course, but these ones are. Really good for the muscle structure and what they, I guess, look like in real life. Rather than in-game, you know? How do you know that name, actually? Did you... Why do you know that name? Have you looked her up recently, or is there something deeper going on? You seem to be very fixated on that character. think the aggressive tone you have with me when while we're doing this project is speaking loudly. Speaking for you. Google it? Yeah. That's what everybody can say. You can't Google stuff like that quickly. Doesn't work. I know I saw her before. Well, that's what they always say. And then you find the secret box underneath their bed. And then there are interesting stories coming next, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I have a reference of her in my homework folder. Ah, now we get to the real story. There's actually a game where you, I think where you die, and it's just like a silly flash game or something, where you die and you, I think you sort of beat hell. You run through hell. I think it's like a jump and run game. You run through hell to resurrect yourself, so you can destroy all porn underneath your bed before your mom finds it. So the end of the game is basically you know, sort of getting resurrected and then destroying all the porn underneath your bed, which is like piles and piles of porn. Back in the day when you had to buy magazines. I wouldn't know. First line of my Wii will is to burn my hard drive. Exactly. I wonder if somebody actually wrote that, or if somebody made like a made a like a joke, sort of last wish document, where, you know, you kind of make fun of whatever maybe happened, or what, you know, you kind of write jokes in it. Everybody that reads it is like super sad that you died, but then maybe you're even the cringy uncle that always, you know, made all these cringy jokes, and everybody's like, please, just stop. And then they're trying to be sad, but they can't because you wrote all these horrible jokes into that document. Have you watched Arcane yet? If only I had time. I would actually watch it, but I don't have time. And I won't have time this week. So ask again next week, I guess. Or in 2 weeks. I think I'll watch Arcane 2 before I'll watch Arcane 1. That's how it's gonna work. Or what's gonna happen. Terrorism reported. Well, chain me up then. I'm waiting. I don't even know what the last show was that I watched. I think it was an anime? I think it was One Punch Man. I actually watched One Punch Man twice. No, I watched the second. Well, I watched it twice, and then I watched the second show, the second part, which for some reason wasn't finished. So I, it ended in a cliffhanger, and then it never continued, which is the worst sin you could do as a anime producer, I guess, or a studio. Continuing a series and then not even finishing it and ending it on a what is it? Not spoiler, the other one. Cliffhanger. Something feels weird about this pose right now. I don't know what it is though. Second season. Was there supposed to be a question mark behind it? There is a second season, but I'm not telling you to watch it because the studio changed, so the animation style changed, and now I get it. Okay, yeah. YouTube delays a little bit, messing with me. Yeah, so I don't know what I wanted to say. I'm baked, okay? I'm done. This pose is getting the best of me. Okay, I think we reached the point of... is that the right pose? It looks okay. It doesn't... No, it's almost done. I need to move the leg backwards. It's tilted backwards right now. It's not standing right. That's what I wanted to say. But on the ground. There you go. Aha! Now it has actually some weight to it. It's actually standing on, it has balance. That's what I wanted to say. Very important for 3D printing if you want to place your characters. Well, we're going to use a base at the end, but still, if you don't have a base like this one here, then you need at least, somewhat of a flat ground. Or if you don't have a lot of flat ground here on the bottom, you need a very balanced character. I wonder if there's a plugin where you can see whether or not, I guess you can do it with hard surface, no, hard body simulations to see if it's off balance. Season, yeah. True. Thank you. FDM, yeah, I have FDM, right? Hold on. PLA is the material that I use. I think it's also called FDM. The one where you put layers on top of each other, not the other one where you use resin. The sticky one, not the sticky one, but the other one. You want it? I can't show it. That would be too much effort. Wait, can I? No. I think that looks on balance, balanced. The leg looks different. I want to change the leg a little bit. It's not fully there yet. The other one, this one. Okay. That looks pretty good. You paint your printed models? Nope, not yet. Still need to find the time, and I still need to find the way to do it. The first thing I need to figure out is how I can make them smoother, because right now they have these layers that you can still see. I would like to make them like super smooth. There's one of our neighbors also has a big 3D printer for their car. They print 3D, or they print car parts, and they have the sanding machine where you can make the prints smooth. But I think that's the best way to do it if you don't want to like spend your own time on it and just let it do it passively. But I also need to figure out how I want to paint them. You can use airbrush. There's probably also some paint you can use, like normal paint, like with a brush, for example, where you can use a brush. Yeah, we'll see. Prusa slicer. Yeah, I use 0.16 layer height. I mean, it's not that noticeable if the angle isn't that drastic. You can set it up in a way where you don't really see the layering too much. But if you hold it like into the light, you can still see it very clearly. It's not that distracting. I think the more important thing would be to add color to it. Yeah, but I still need to... That is something that I want to do at some point, but not right now. First I want to bring it into the world, from the digital world into the real life world, and then I afterwards care about the color. Okay, I think the pose looks pretty good. I think now the next step would be to go into into the individual pieces and fine-tune them even more. Remove the link so that we can adjust the muscles according to the pose that they have. So as we talked before, like this muscle here, this muscle needs to be in a whole different position. So this muscle, this leg would look way different, or will look way different once we are done with the adjustments. And once we're done with the adjustments, we can then join them all together. Or yeah, we will join them all together, and then we will create one single sculpt object that we can then, I guess, fully finalize the body. But that will be on another day, unfortunately. But I think we've done quite a lot. This is the current state. We have the pose, we have the base mesh, we have good proportions already. We can adjust them a little bit more, and then yeah, we'll get closer and closer to the end result. Of course, tomorrow I'm not going to stream. The next stream will be on Monday, and on Monday we're going to do the next follow along sculpting session. So if you're excited for that, then I guess you have to wait until Monday. On Monday we're going to do a female character. So if you want to know a little bit more about how I guess sculpt female characters, then that'll be for you. We're going to do a character that just recently came out, so maybe that's a hint to who we're gonna sculpt. Maybe that's a little bit too open, but I guess so be it. Yeah, so next week we're gonna do Monday. On Thursday is already planned, which means Monday follow along sculpting session, and then on Thursday personal feedback session. And then we're probably gonna do either one other topic on Tuesday or Wednesday, or we're gonna continue working on her, basically. Don't go just yet. Why? Heads, bodies, head. We're gonna first we're only gonna do heads, or like busts basically, like maybe including shoulders too, but I want to focus more on the head first. Maybe for that character shoulders make sense too. But I will, I guess, work a little bit faster for the next character. For Ryu, I worked pretty slowly. I explained everything in a lot of depth. For this character, I'm gonna do it a little bit quicker, so that we can maybe even include shoulders. Okay, there you go. Why you don't use the reference in the viewer? The torso seems a bit too vertically. Oh, you mean this? Yeah, maybe. I see what you mean. I guess, yeah, we can maybe tilt it back a little bit. Thank you for that tip. I agree. Let's pull it back. Well, we need to pull this back too. Yeah, like that, right? A little bit more like that. I think that makes more sense than the head. More like that. Also rotate it to the front. Oh, I've completely forgot the head, actually. There you go. Yeah, I think that's actually better. It's not fully there. It's a little bit lowered still. Maybe we can even just lower it. So she's actually arching her back a little bit. There you go. More? I think even more. Hold on. We're not done yet. I lied. Yeah, that. Oh, yeah. That makes it more dynamic. Thank you for that. That makes it way more dynamic. And way better. Thank you. Rubik. Good eye. Good observation. Oh, not the head. I think this arm looks pretty good there. There you go. Yeah, that looks way better. Perfect. Yeah, sometimes the more you look at something, the less you see of it. So it's always good to let somebody else look over it, you know, or, you know, you can also, you know, say stuff. And I guess critique it. Because sometimes, you know, you work on something for so long that you don't see the details that well. Or you just forget them. And somebody else looks at them with, I guess, fresh eyes. So there's always something new that they could find, or oftentimes. Okay. I appreciate that, thank you. Yeah, there it is. It could maybe tilt back even more, but I think that's good now. Well, now you got me in a loop. Hold on. Let's try more. You stun locked me. Hold on. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, at some point you have to stop. You have to stop your urges. Okay. What is better? It's better now. Nice. Okay. Yep. We will end the stream here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for chatting or just being here. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of or the weekend too. Hope you enjoy the weekend. Maybe I'll see you next time on Monday for the next follow along sculpting session. And until then, yeah, take care.